Hey, Jeff here with Digital Trends to give you a quick look at the new Motorola Droid 4 on Verizon. This is the newest high-end phone on Verizon's network, and it's got all the typical specs of a high-end phone like the Razr and the Galaxy Nexus, 1.2 gigahertz dual-core, about a gigabyte of RAM, and it hooks up to Verizon's 4G LTE network, which is a first for the Droids. We actually had a Droid come out last year around July, the Droid 3, but it did not connect up to 4G LTE, even though Verizon's network had technically launched at that point. So this is a bit of a catch-up for Motorola. They're trying to kind of revive the Droid brand, which was kind of the brand that brought Android into the mainstream in the first place, and bring a keyboarded experience, try to draw some more interest back to that. So the star of this is the keyboard. As you can see here, even in the video, it's very light. Each key is actually individually lit, Verizon reps tell us, and I kind of believe it. They're very consistently lit. Got a very good feel to it. I'll open up a browser here. We'll go to digitaltrends.com. I don't know if you can hear, each button has kind of a good click to it. And the site loads just fine. So the keyboard it's good. It's a little modified. It's mostly the same as the Droid 3. They made a couple modifications. It looks simpler because they eliminated the Alt button, which had all the different symbols were on the keypad. Now if you want to do some of the symbols, you just hit the symbol button and it'll bring up a whole, little bright on the screen there, but it'll bring up a whole menu of weird symbols like the divide symbol or multiplication or trademark symbol, whatever you want. So that saves room on the keyboard and makes it a lot cleaner. Sliding mechanism is still pretty much the same as all the Droids. It has a nice click when you go in and out. Overall, the phone overall is a little bit larger than we're used to. I have the original Droid here, and they're both roughly ½ an inch thick, but as you can see, the new Droid is a lot longer. They've gradually grown in size. This is because the screen is actually 4 inches instead of 3.7 inches on the original Droid here. It's also hard to say. This Droid, we have the screen up a little bit too bright here. I'll try to take it down a notch. So that helps a little bit. So here is the Droid side by side, and I'll actually pull out a Galaxy Nexus, which has a 4.65 inch screen, so it's a little bit larger of a screen there. And you can see a little bit larger. It doesn't come out on the video here very much, but the Galaxy Nexus actually has a much brighter, more vivid screen. Motorola has chosen for some reason to go with the same screen they've been using in a lot of their handsets, except for the Droid Razr, oddly enough. They're using a Pentile LCD screen here, which is a little washed out, and you can actually see you can see little subpixels, so the detail on the screen is not very good. Also, bright colors like yellows don't come out very well. They've done a good job of trying to improve this over time. This screen is definitely better than the Droid 3 screen last year. And they have a nice bright background here, so it doesn't look like there's a problem. They've modified Android 2.3 to look a little grayer and bluer, as you can see. This is partially because of the limitations of the screen, I would guess, but also because Motorola just does not seem to have an eye for UI design lately. Not a huge issue. Again, if you buy this phone, probably for the keyboard, but you're not going to buy it for the interface. It does Android 2.3 well enough. They say Android 4.0 is coming, which will be very nice. It'll look more like this bad boy. And yes, I used to use the word bad boy. So here are some of the apps. Focus in there. And we've got, as you can see, it's a mix between Verizon apps like Blockbuster and you know, Amazon Kindle, stuff like that's on all of their stuff. And then there's Moto Active, Moto Print, a lot of Motorola apps located on there. And they've also included a few business apps like GoToMeeting. Moto Print would technically be a business app too. My Files, Task Manager, stuff like that. And the Smart Actions is actually probably the most useful app on this. We've made one Smart Action here on this one so far. So it's a battery extender. So when it's discharging, we turn the GPS off, turn off background sync, and your battery will last a lot longer. Battery life's been pretty good on this. We've been using it all day here. We have about half battery life. Been using it since about 8 a.m. Pretty regularly. Did some GPS on it, some other different activities, took a few calls. It's held up pretty well. It's certainly a lot better than the Galaxy Nexus, which cannot get through a single day without needing a recharge by the end. We've been really disappointed in the battery of this. The Motorola phones have actually done really well. The Droid 4 does well. There's the new Razr Max, which we'll have a review for shortly, and that has a pretty good battery as well. But overall, the LTE connectivity is great. The keyboard is awesome. This is the best keyboard we've seen on any handset so far. And camera's not that great. We get into that a little more in the review. Screen's not that great. Menu's not that great. This is basically if you're looking for a good keyboard and you're on Verizon and you want 4G LTE, which you should, because it's a lot better than 3G. And that is the new Droid 4.